Hi there, and welcome back to the Lisa Nichols Show, where I share the tools and the techniques that you and I and all of us need and want to create the impact that we all want to create the lifestyle that we all deserve to have. I am so excited because today I'm sharing the fifth step in how to create a powerful message. Now, if you have not already done so, which you probably have by now, look at the previous episodes where you see step 1, 2, 3, and 4. Why do we want to create a powerful message? Because every time you open your mouth, you want to create impact. Every time. Whether you're talking to your friends, your children, your family members, whether you're talking to an audience of 1 or an audience of 100 or 1,000 or 100,000. Whether you're in a boardroom or whether you're walking on the beach, you want to create impact. Now, if you're a business owner or an entrepreneur, then this message is super important for you, because it has everything to do with you attracting your ideal customer and keeping them. So I won't say that this is the final step because I created an outline for the science of impactful speaking, culminating my 27 years at the time that I shot this video, 27 years in the business and creating a multi-million-dollar platform. And I got to tell you, the first 10, 12 years of me creating this crazy successful global business and brand, I didn't even know the techniques I was doing. It was my unconscious competence. And over a period of time, I thought, whoa, I keep creating this tsunami of new clients, tsunami of new business partners. What's happening? And I began to look at and study what were the techniques that I did on stage, on camera, in interviews that kept creating this tremendous wave of success. And then I began to shape it so that I can create techniques out of it. So it wouldn't just be my superpower, but it can become your superpower as well. So there are many, and I have full courses where we deep dive into them and we actually watch you do them so that we can help you master them. But in these last 4 episodes, and in this episode being the 5th, I wanted to just give you a spoonful of some of the things that you can do to really take your message and share your message in a way that engages and inspires your audience. So here it is, step number 5. You want to take the techniques, the previous 4 techniques that I've given you, and if you're in any one of my courses, it's actually 17 techniques, and you want to make it sound like a symphony. And the reason why this is a step is because most people look at techniques and look at things they do very fragmented. Well, I'm going to say, and I like to call it 2 things. 1, make it sound like a symphony, meaning you want your message to blend together. Think of it as if you were writing a song, because a message should be rhythmic. It should be like a song. It should have this cadence to it. It should have this alliteration to it. It should have this flow to it. It has this opening. It has this middle, this arc, and it has this ending. And it all comes together, right? That's the symphony. That's the sound. That's the band. The other way you can look at it is you want to take your individual ingredients and then you want to layer them together like lasagna. And you want to put them on. Lasagna is actually not one of the easiest dishes to make because it's about individual mastery of the particular taste and the particular seasonings. And then it's also about layering it in such a way that it meshes together and comes out in one form. That's how a great message is. You take the techniques, audience connection. You take the techniques, ending with a fire, not a fizzle. You take the techniques, understanding what's in it for your audience. You take the techniques, verbal highlights. And you do all these techniques, and then you go, how do I layer them? Content and story and opening and close. Yeah, again, I say, this ain't elementary. This is MBA, right? So it takes a minute. But if you've implemented the first 4 steps, then you have delicious content. You understand what a soul-stirring story looks like because I taught you the valley. You understand the crescendo and a close. Now it's time for you as the conductor, or like my son Jelani, as the head chef, as he is a chef of all times. Now you want to put the dish together Or as the conductor, you want to create a beautiful symphony of words. Yeah, I know when you think of it that way, it's like, well, Lisa, it's just a message. No, it's not. It's life for someone who's listening. It's life for someone who needs your words. So take the time and create a symphony of oration. Create a symphony of possibility. Create a symphony of energy. Because when you speak, and you speak possibility, you speak education, you speak motivation, you're speaking life. I've been in this business for over 20 years. At the time that I'm shooting this show, about 27 years. How do I know? Because I measure it based on the age of my son. About 27 years. Before, I didn't understand the power of the symphony, the power of putting it together. But now I understand the time that it takes to understand my audience, to design the pieces of the message, and then to mesh them together. So when you're creating a message, don't create a message. Create the different components of the message. And then this technique is to layer them like the lasagna, or to pull them all together like the conductor of a symphony. I customize my speech to the audience, and I design a powerful close that's going to work for them. I look at the story that best shares with them that I know where they are. It moves their soul. It stirs their heart. I create content that gives them value, a takeaway right now. Now, the content is a takeaway right now, like I'm giving to you. The story is the relationship that I'm here for you. We are together. The close is leaving them with a charge or a message or a poem that inspires their hearts. And then I layer them all together like the conductor or the chef, whichever one resonates with you. Because when you're giving your audience the gift of the symphony, the gift of the whole equation put together and handed to them, you give them the power to walk away with something that they can use. Often, speakers want to get in front of as many people as possible. I hear it all the time now. How many followers you have? How big was your audience? And I'm like, you know what? It doesn't matter whether there's 100,000, 100, or 2. You have a responsibility to leave them with something that's going to make them better than they were before you cross their path. You want to make sure that you leave the audience with every sense of energy possible, every sense of possibility. You want to crack them open in such a way that they're not the same person because they opened your video, because they came to your event. What does that look like? How do you do that? You want to give without expectation. You want to inspire without any expectation. You want to serve. You want to serve because it's the right thing to do. You want to leave them in a way in which they were not before they met you. That requires practice. That requires practice and preparation. That requires mastering the individual pieces of your message and then practicing putting it together like the lasagna, orchestrating the symphony. And so I want to leave you with this. As you begin to pull your message together, the one thing that I notice people do is most speakers, they want to do a new speech every time they speak. They're like, I'm tired of hearing this. Well, even though you want to customize it to your audience, be okay with the fact that your message has a streamline of continuity from audience to audience. You can look at 5 speeches right here on YouTube. You can look at 5 speeches from me and you see the zip code that I live in. I live in transformation. I live in possibility. I live in charging you to live your best life ever and doing what's necessary. I live in the same zip code. So don't get bored with your message because your message isn't for you. Your message comes through you and it's for everyone that crosses your path. They come and they expect to be inspired. They expect to be encouraged. They expect to be transformed. Give them that. Whether you're talking about technology, engineering, media, marketing, social media, whatever you're talking about, give them that gift. So in summation, practicing the blend. That's step number 5. Practice the blend, knowing each part of your speech and how well they work together. Tie all of the steps together. Now let's review. 1 is to have a clear distinction between your content and your story. Understand your content and understand your story. Now, one of the things that I use, the techniques that I use to to really understand my content is I number my content. So point number one, or point A, I'll either do letters or I'll do numbers. It keeps my head clear because I'm an artist. And so I'm all over the place. I love all the colors. So I know I'm going to come in, Lisa, you're going to give them 4 points, right? Which is why this is a 5-step, right? I got tons of steps, but I told you I'm going to give you 5. So if I get off, I know, hold on, Lisa, you're owing 5, right? So number one is a clear distinction between your content. Number your content or give your content letters so that you know how much content you want to give them. And when you say number one, guess what? The linear learner writes down 1. If you just go, and another, and another, and another, people get confused. They don't know how many you gave them already, right? So when you say, I'm going to give you 5 things, here's step 1. It helps people get clear and organized on how to capture your intellect, right? And then in your story is like the intermission between content. Think of it that way. You know, kids, they have the first part of their day in school and the second part of their day in school, and it's separated by lunch or recess. Your story is like the connection of recess or lunch. Number 2, customize your content. Customize your content for the audience that you're speaking to. Understand that different audiences listen differently. If you're talking to a group of men listen differently than women. Men want the outcome. They want the bottom line. They want the results. They want the takeaway. Women, we want to know the colors. We want to know the feeling. We want to know what music was playing. We want all the little things in between. Understand that distinction between your audiences. If you're speaking to an audience of millennials versus an audience of baby boomers, they think differently. Baby boomers are about long-term longevity. We're going to be together for the next 10 years. We're about long-term. And baby boomers are about long-term. And millennials, you say we're going to be together for 20 years. They're like, oh, hold on. Let's just chill for the next week and let's see how it goes. And so you need to talk about short-term commitments for them. So a lot of times when I'm training people who are baby boomers, they want to make their programs 15 weeks long or 12 weeks long. And they don't understand why they're not selling to the millennials. Well, millennials say, let's go through a 3-week workshop. And then let's go to another 3-week workshop. So understand and customize your content for your audience that you're speaking to. Number 3, design your powerful close. Don't close in a fizzle. Close with fire. Remember that your close is the last impression of you that your audience has. Don't fizzle out because you gave them such great content in the middle that you think that carries you to the end. No. Crescendo. Remember, come back out for your encore. Your encore is how you end them. And you can end them in a poem. You can end them with a quote. You can end them with song. You can end them with a call and response. You can end them closing them into themselves and have them open up and talk and hear their own voice. So many powerful endings. Make sure you choose one. Number 4. Identify your audience's triggers. Connect with your audience. What's important to them? Go into it with the WIIFT. What's in it for them? And then speak to that. What's their red button? Man, what I'm really good at, I can tell you, is I know the red buttons. I ask enough questions. I'm not like brilliant enough to make them up. No, I ask the question, what's your trigger? What's keeping you up at night? What's pissing you off? What's inspiring you? What's making you scream in your head? I need this answer. I ask those questions. I catalog that. I put that in my pocket. And then when I speak with that in mind. So number 4, know your audience's triggers. And number 5, become the conductor and create your symphony. Bring all those techniques together to make a beautiful one sound, one voice, one rhythm. Or if you like food, then become the chef and turn all those individual ingredients, layer them together to make a lasagna in your message and your speech. All right, I know I've given you a lot. Now, I would love to hear from you. Like, what was the biggest aha? Like, okay, so I got it. It's a lot, but I got it, right? What's the BOL? Breakthrough out loud. What are you already doing? Like, oh my God, Lisa, I didn't even know that I was unconsciously doing this. This was an unconscious competence. And all I'm doing is bringing from an unconscious competence and making it a conscious competence, right? Like you may have already been doing this and now you just know, okay, I'm on the right path. I know I got like 4 of the 5 down. Let me get this other 5. And then don't forget, go get the other ones because there's 17. They're 17. So this is not a quickie, y'all. This is not a quickie. This is a long-term relationship. So how are you going to incorporate these into your speaking? I want to know that. Leave a comment below. Let me know how you're going to engage this when you're online, social media, when you're inside your programs, when you're writing your book. Like, the way I write is the way I speak. And the way I speak is the way I write, so that it all flows together. So many people have read my books. More people will read my books than actually look at my videos, and they go, oh my God, I felt like I was in the living room having a conversation with you. Yeah, that's the way I wanted you to feel. So come on, comment to me. I want to know. I really want to hear from you. This is not a one-sided relationship. This really is a dialogue. This really is a two-way relationship. Have you figured that out yet? Because after all, this is your home, and we are your tribe. And actually, this is your judgment-free zone. No judgment. If you're a beginner, great. Let's begin and build it right. I wish I had, at the beginning of my journey, someone helping me to figure it out sooner, quicker, faster, right? I'm your sister in that journey. I'm not going anywhere. I'm in this for the long haul. This is not a sprint. This is a marathon. And I will always be your sister in prosperity and in possibility. And as many times as I can, you may get tired of hearing it, but I'll never get tired of saying it. I believe in you. And I love you. Truly, I do. I cannot wait to see you real soon.